that's the lesson that you take from this. Don't ever, ever, ever give up on someone.
When it comes down to it, it's a very difficult sport.
I enjoy the people that are here.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Welcome to Community Closeup. I'm Joe Nelson. Today we hit the gym to find out how a new coach is getting Coon Rapids athletes from all sports into better shape this summer. We head to the fair where a Coon Rapids artist showcases his talent on cotton. And neighbors give a Gulf War veteran a ride without ever leaving his yard. But first, the world's eyes are on Rio de Janeiro this month as athletes from 206 countries are set to compete in the Summer Olympics. Anoka County athletes are no stranger to the games, and we tracked down two who took home medals and another on her way to represent Team USA.
When I was 12 years old, I was in my class and a bunch of flyers came out by the teacher, and one of them was soccer. I brought it home to my mom and dad and said, "Can I do this?" And they always said yes.
When I was 4, my parents thought they were signing me up for normal, artistic gymnastics. But it turned out to be rhythmic, with the ribbons and balls and stuff, and I ended up really liking it, so I stayed.
I actually played hockey when I was 5, but I didn't like the cold weather, so got me into wrestling when I was 6, and kind of went off from there.
Growing up in Anoka County, Brandon Paulson, Brianna Scurry, and Kiana Ide started as little athletes with big dreams.
By the time I was 16, I think it was pretty clear that I was probably going to play higher level. We just didn't know how high at the time.
In 9th grade, I figured out that I had some national level skill. I went to a couple national tournaments and won the cadet and junior nationals.
And Kiana had to leave her mom and sister in St. Francis to move to a Chicago suburb to train and pursue her passion in rhythmic gymnastics.
My dad moved with me, and I had to switch schools and everything.
After joining Team USA as its youngest member, she took the next step to her dreams becoming reality last fall in Germany at the Olympic qualifying tournament.
Right afterwards, we start crying because we were just so happy with our performance. We were just really proud of ourselves. And so we went back to the hotel, and we started getting ready for dinner we were going to have. And my roommate, Natalie, she got a text from her dad saying, "Did you guys know that you qualified straight to Rio?" We're like, "No, that's not Rio, no. And then our teammates in the other room, they saw on Facebook a post that said the official teams that qualify straight to Rio, and USA was the last on that list. And we all at the same time ran to the same room and just started crying and screaming, tears of complete happiness. It probably won't sink in until the flight there or when we're probably going to walk out to the Olympics.
Brianna Scurry from Dayton took a different path, showing promise as the goalkeeper for the University of Massachusetts in the mid-1990s.
My coach, Jim, said that I had the talent to play on the national team, and I said, this was my sophomore year, and I said I didn't even know there was one. So if that tells you anything with what I knew about how good I was or about soccer at the time. During this entire time when I was in college and trying to do my thing on the national team in the beginning, women's soccer actually wasn't an Olympic sport at all. And I just got lucky in a sense, that I was there at the right place, right time, and was a starting keeper at the time, and was able to realize my dream that I had since I was 8, which was to be an Olympian.
And during the same time, Brandon Paulson was determined to go to the Atlanta Olympics, taking a year off from the University of Minnesota team to focus on his training for Greco-Roman wrestling.
I had to wrestle a guy that I'd never beaten before. He beat me 5 times, but really I was very confident that I was going to make the team. It was something I dreamed about. It's something that I visualized, and for it to happen, it's hard to explain that it's like you don't want to wake up from a dream. It's something that you work so hard for, and to finally make it, it was amazing.
All of our training will hopefully be worth it. Our goal is just to do 2 clean routines just for ourselves. We're not trying to beat anyone, we're just trying to do it for ourselves.
Brianna and Brandon tell us representing the United States at the 1996 Summer Olympics was a feeling unlike any other.
If you can think of your most amazing moment you've had up until this time in your life and multiply it by 1,000, that's what it feels like. I had that dream in the back of my mind for 16 years, and so when I was 24 and found myself living my dream, it was a pretty amazing feeling. The opening ceremonies is the most amazing event you could possibly participate in.
In the opening ceremonies, we had to walk up this platform. There's about 35 feet tall or 40 or 50, and you get to the top and there's the stadium, and you know, there's 100,000 people waving their flags and chanting USA. And
we came around that corner into that stadium, if you recall how that ramp came around and the lights were on, and they were telling us, you know, don't look at the cameras. But of course, everybody like bum rushed the camera as soon as we came around that corner. Just
you got to walk around the track, and that whole, you know, I get goosebumps as I talk about it. Just that whole walk around the track was just unbelievable.
just complete elation. And then just the feeling of being Team USA. I mean, you are like among the kings and queens of sport on the planet.
The games in Atlanta came with a deadly distraction. A pipe bomb was planted at Centennial Park on the Olympic grounds and exploded, killing 2 people.
It was intense, but we were actually nowhere near that Olympic Park bombing. But it was very scary. We were just hoping that people were okay. And we also were hoping that people that we knew, friends and family that may have been in Atlanta, weren't involved.
And I actually had walked right past where the bomb went off, probably 6 hours before. So it's a Centennial Olympic Village where, you know, that's where I kind of met my family and stuff, where they could go.
The man who put the bomb there, Eric Robert Rudolph, wasn't caught for 2 more years, but was sentenced to life in prison in 2005.
You have all these countries coming together in a peaceful nature. I mean, it's United States, Iran, Russia, North Korea, China, you know, all these countries are competing, and as athletes, we're all together. It's not just a competition against them, but it's goodwill competing. And for somebody to try to ruin the Olympics, and that's what a lot of people remember. It was more anger than anything.
This year, the Zika virus is a concern in Rio de Janeiro.
We know that like USA Gymnastics has our best interest in mind about that. We know that they'll take care of us, do what's best for us, so we're not really focused on that right now.
But focused on competing, Brandon knew he had to win 3 matches to take home the gold medal and 4 for gold.
And I had a tough Bulgarian in the semis. And that was really the match for me. You win that match, you're a medalist in the Olympics. And he actually got a lead to start off, but then I got in a roll, and man, it was awesome. It's just something that you train your whole life for, and you sacrificed a lot, and you put your body and your mind through a lot to get to that point, and you know, it's all worth it when you get there.
He fell short of the gold, but took home a silver along with memories to last a lifetime.
I wrestled fine. I gave it my all. You know, I was confident going in, but you know, it doesn't always happen right. Again, I won a medal in the Olympics, so I wasn't too upset.
After getting through the preliminary round with 2 wins and a draw, Brianna and Team USA beat Norway to get to the finals and China to win the first ever gold medal in women's soccer.
The first thing I remember thinking when they put that medal around my neck was like, ooh, it's heavy. You know, and it's like a dream come true. Like I said, it's amazing to feel that. And you've usually at that point in time in your career have gotten several years of just sacrifice and training and time and so much focus and effort on one thing, and then you are victorious at the thing. And then to hear our national anthem, to watch them raise the USA flag in the middle of other flags, it's just truly something amazing. And I can't even say how grateful I am and glad and how much gratitude I had that I was able to do that twice.
At the Sydney Games in 2000, Brianna lost her starting spot and watched every minute from the sidelines as her team earned the silver medal.
At the time, I was like, you know, if I'd been playing, you know, it would have been better. But, you know, as you can see now, and I was very young then, and I'm older now, and I realize that that's actually was a ridiculous statement to make. And so it's not true at all.
She regained her role as starting goalkeeper 4 years later, and a heavy heart motivated her to win another heavy gold medal.
I wanted to prove myself again that I was worthy to be on the team, A, and B, unfortunately, my father had passed away 2 months before that games in 2004, and so I went into the Olympic Games with, you know, 2 very diametrically opposed emotions, but as heightened as they could possibly be. You know, absolute elation that I was returning to the games again, you know, the starting keeper, but also incredible sorrow and mourning for my father who passed away. But, you know, I mean, my dad was an amazing part of my life, always had been, was one of the people who believed in me the most. And I wanted to play really, really hard and really well for him. And I did. It's the best soccer I've ever played in my life, that 2004 games.
They represented not just their home country, but also their hometowns.
You're like, I can't wait to get out on that mat and represent the U.S. and do the best I can for the United States and for Anoka and for Minnesota. It's just, you know, it's not like being in the service, but it's really the way that I could serve the United States.
Being someone who's from a town like Dayton, you know, Anoka area, you know, is really a badge of courage for me. Had I lived many other places, I may not be talking to you right now. I don't know. I may not have been, you know, able to play soccer and have all the opportunity that I actually was able to have because of where I lived. And that was a choice my parents made. And so I'm always very grateful to them for that. But it's nice. It's nice because a lot of times people, you know, wonder, well, how did you get here? And a lot of times people think it's this, that, and the other thing, and maybe they can't do it, you know, too. But, you know, being from a small town, I mean, if you can be a small town girl like me living in Dayton, Minnesota, and make it to the national team and the Olympic teams, then anybody can do just about anything they want.
An added bonus is a chance to watch other sports and meet other athletes at the top of their games.
Team USA, we cheer each other on. I mean, whether it's women's basketball, men's basketball, swimming, equestrian, you know, volleyball, track, of course, and all the other sports.
I went to tennis almost every day and got to see some of the people that were some of my heroes.
Brianna has gone from the world's biggest stage to many smaller ones, speaking at colleges and businesses about the dangers of concussions, which ended her career in 2010, along with motivational speeches on how to overcome obstacles.
One of the things that I'm doing to try to achieve my lifetime goal, which is to be more impactful in my next 40 years than I was in my first 40. And that's a tall order, but I'm doing the best I can with it. I'm willing to go after it. We'll see how it goes.
Still only 17, Kiana has her own message to deliver.
One goal I want out of my whole career is just to spread the word, open the sport to America, because it's so not really known. Like, people know it a little bit, but like when they say, oh, what sport do you do? I say, I do rhythmic gymnastics. They're like, oh, you do gymnastics? Okay, so you do the beam and stuff. No, I don't do that. I do rhythmic gymnastics. That's with the ribbons, the balls, hoops, clubs. It's such a beautiful sport, and I don't really feel like people know how hard we work.
As a wrestling coach with his own gym in Shoreview, Brandon has helped a new generation reach for their own Olympic goals.
I get to train them as well, and guys that are really coming up on that Olympic dream. So I love what I do.
And every 4 years, these Olympians have a chance to relive their days representing the United States.
I can't wait to watch the wrestlers.
It's a pretty special time every 4 years, so I hope everybody absorbs, and however they have to, as much Olympic coverage as they can.
The whole Olympic experience is like being able to say, I went to the Olympics, I am an Olympian. Just everything about it is just the dream, and it's crazy to think about, but it's really happening.
Kiana is set to compete with Team USA in rhythmic gymnastics starting August 19th. Still to come, how a younger group of athletes is coming together, preparing for their next season and to form healthy habits. Stay with us. Class doesn't go back in session until September, but that hasn't stopped students from showing up at Coon Rapids High School bright and early. A new conditioning camp called One Team is keeping feet moving and muscles flexing.
You're driving, pushing yourself, push!
At a time when many teens are still in bed, a new group of athletes hits the gym ready to push and be pushed.
Better, good adjustments.
For the first time, Coon Rapids Cardinals players and coaches from several different sports are coming together 4 times a week to run, jump, and lift their way into better shape.
I can't motivate myself, and the community I work with is great with motivating me.
Those arms got to be going too.
The One Team Conditioning Camp is an idea new head football coach Greg Malling carried with him from his last school in Heartland, Wisconsin.
The idea is just getting all the different programs to work together. Using the strengths of each of the programs to help build others. way to bring different athletes within the school together and hopefully all get better together.
Coach Malling says he's hoping everyone in the camp can motivate and learn from one another.
What we found before, for instance, was what girls basketball brought to that program or what girls volleyball brought to the program was awesome, and it filled in like weaknesses that I think football players generally have in terms of form, flexibility, all that.
It allows the freshmen to push the seniors and the seniors to push the freshmen, and the girls to boys and the boys to girls, and it allows everybody to be a leader and everybody to shine in their own specific way.
Because when you're by yourself, like, it's kind of hard to push yourself to the point where you feel like you can't go any farther, but when you have coaches and other people that are trying to get to the same place, it really helps you like stay motivated and keeps pushing you harder.
Boys head basketball coach Michael Garrick says he's already noticed a difference in his players.
There's this confidence that comes with doing the work. And they're starting to throw their weight around more, and for us, I mean, if you've watched our games in my first couple of years, we just weren't there physically. We're starting to get there.
My strength, I'm getting better. My bench is getting better. My squad is getting better each day. Every day we do this, I know that I'm getting stronger. And I just feel like everything that we're doing, especially like agility stuff, like how to move your body, how to adjust your body to different movements and stuff, I think that's going to really help in any sport.
You notice that you don't get tired from things that once used to tire you out.
And it's not just muscles getting stronger.
This is like a really good thing for the team and the school's culture, and setting a good example for everybody.
We're all in it together, we're all going to suffer and we're all going to succeed.
The one-team conditioning camp holds 28 workout sessions, including classroom work to develop leadership skills and mental toughness from late June through early August. Up next, we'll introduce you to a Coon Rapids veteran who turned to his community for help in completing his favorite household task. Stay with us.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
A local veteran is enjoying one of life's simple pleasures after a 25-year wait. Scott Favilla from Coon Rapids reached out to the community for help when a household chore became too difficult. Community Close-Up's Jordan Rylance has more.
Mowing the lawn isn't something most people like to do, but for Scott Favilla, it's something he wants to do.
I've done it for a number of years with the push mower. It's just that over time now, basically the body's starting to get a little wearing down with the leg and ankle, with all the metal in there starting to hurt more, and arthritis is kicking in.
An accident while serving in the Gulf War paralyzed Scott's left arm and left him with several lifelong injuries.
The pole got hit, fell down in the crowd of us. I got hit dead in the back of the head with it and left me with a concussion and a coma for 3 days. As that fell forward on me, it took out my left shoulder, dislocated and fractured and paralyzed it. I ripped and turned nerves out of my spine. As I went down, the pole came on top, the bus drove over the top of me, caused internal bleeding and ruptured the spleen.
That accident changed everything for Scott, physically and mentally.
It was just very frustrating and what you could expect, after an accident.
As a wife and a support system to your best friend, if they're feeling down and you want to help, you want to be there for them, you want to offer support and advice. What can I do? What do you need? And that is almost the exact opposite of what someone with PTSD needs. They need to deal with it in their own way. They need to work it out in whatever way works for them.
As Scott's recovery continued, new problems arose, specifically in his front yard. Pushing a traditional lawnmower became too difficult for Scott, so he turned to his community for help.
And we went up as far as Big Lake and as down as far as Eden Prairie. And so they're putting up flyers and talking to people in local businesses about the campaign we're trying to do.
That campaign became Scott and Brandy's mission, to raise $3,200 for a riding lawnmower.
I said that'd be a really cool device for me to have in the yard. It'd cut my time down, and I can use a steering wheel and my foot, basically, so I'm resting a lot of my body.
And that's when the Coon Rapids Lions got involved.
His left side's pretty banged up. He can't do much, and his kids are starting to leave the nest now, And he said, it's real hard to push a lawnmower with one hand. And I said, you got that right. So we got involved.
The Lions, community members, business owners and organizations, private donors, and several others pitched in. And after just a few weeks,
A lot of independents came back
with no regrets.
I'm glad that I served. I'm proud that I served. And I will continue to serve even though I may not be in uniform.
A simple household task, never appreciated more.
Every day you wake up is a good day.
For Community Closeup, I'm Jordan Rylance.
Scott's campaign raised $3,700 total. He will be donating the additional funds to local charities and nonprofit organizations. Wolfman, RoboCop, and Grumpy the Dwarf all found their way to Coon Rapids this summer. We'll show you how coming up.
Mom, can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. What about your sister's room? It's not there either. The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet? There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Thanks for watching Community Closeup. We leave you at the fair where among the rides, cheese curds, and livestock is a craftsman who delivers smiles by the hour using his ears, hands, and mind. I'm Joe Nelson. We'll see you next time.
Oh. According to my mother, I started drawing before I even got into preschool. And for some reason, I just enjoyed it. And by the time I got into 4th grade, I was doing anatomy like that of a college student.
Growing up in Coon Rapids, Aaron Hoffman's imagination spilled onto paper. From there, it splattered onto screens and skin.
Even in high school, I was doing some artwork on the side for people. Got into a wide range of tattooing, airbrushing. I went to college for graphic communication. I've always aced all my art classes. All my teachers say the same thing. You really don't need to be here, but we understand why.
Aaron says he wasn't always proud of his airbrushing abilities.
When I first started trying to do this 20 years ago, I wouldn't be caught dead showing my stuff to anybody. But now, things have gotten better and I've learned better techniques.
His work isn't on display in a gallery, but thousands of people see it every summer between a giant slide and a high striker.
This is Jeff Bridges from the Tron Legacy, and it's a combination of airbrush, white charcoal pencil, and black charcoal pencil. The white charcoal and black charcoal is really to add in the detailing. Same thing with the Wolfman. He's a combination of pencils and airbrush. My Rooster Cosburn, this is just, I want to say, acrylic-based airbrush with white colored pencil. I got visors and hats. They start at $10 and then go up.
Although it's not a museum, Aaron says he's found a unique outlet and audience, hitting the road and setting up shop at dozens of carnivals throughout the state every year.
It's not quite the fine art like some of this stuff here, but I've been airbrushing for 20 years. And I worked at the Mall of America and Valley Fair for 1 year under Kent Lynn, and he really showed me how to get into the t-shirt industry. Once I got into that point, Midway Amusement and Gopher State, they said, hey, why don't you set up an airbrush booth out here? And they really did me a favor by giving me a shot.
Just like the Ferris wheel Aaron's booth faces, his customers' reactions can quickly lift his spirits or drop them down to a place even cotton candy can't cure.
Anytime you do something that is unique and is well-liked, it's hard not to feel good about it. But on the other side of that, it's very easy to feel discouraged when somebody doesn't like something. You put time into it, to paint it, to think of it, to create it, and it doesn't take much to make it feel bad. It takes a lot to make it feel better.
Custom work on shirts, hats, or helmets can feature almost any word or design, but Aaron says he's willing to lose some business to abide by his own values.
Sometimes I've had to turn down some projects because, I'd rather be honest with somebody and say, hey, I'm just not comfortable enough to do certain things. And I do try to hold some standard as far as, what's appropriate. I've had people ask for some things that, they just go against my core beliefs, and it's like, I can't do it. I don't want to get into the point where I become the shock artist, the guy who does the really crazy stuff. I want to be the guy that everybody says, you know what, this guy's good. You know, he does some stuff that's out there, but, you know, he's worth going to.
His dreams don't end on a $15 extra large. He hopes to give back to the artists whose work comes at a different cost.
My ultimate goal would be to have a building that serves two functions. One would be a store to sell artwork in general. The other part is actually to get kids off the street and teach them how to airbrush, because I go out and I see amazing graffiti art, and you know, a lot of it's done illegally. If I can just get some of these kids in a building, teach them how to do it, and they can sell their work, you know, part of that money would go in and fund the building, so that way it takes care of itself. But then these guys would also learn a professional skill that they could take outside and take care of themselves.
His presence here feeds a craving no corn dog nor funnel cake could ever satisfy.
I've learned that you're only a starving artist if you choose not to pursue it. If you want something bad enough, it might take a lot to get it going, but once it gets going and you learn how to make it work for you, you're not a starving artist.
Dang, you're good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.